was hoping I would still add Rob in when he was headbanging.
Yeah, I really wanted to try to get my hair to go, but it just wasn't. It won't.
It won't go.
You'll get there.
You'll get there. Yeah.
Maybe I'll grow up and be a big boy someday and grow hair. Oh wait.
It's overrated.
And then you'll be able to use the hairbrush whack hack that I just did and brush your hair.
Genius.
I'll have to check that out.
I found out that Web of Spider-Man 98 is a great thing to use while cutting your hair because it sticks to the hair. So it like catches it.
Makes sense.
At the same time, it's like a great level. Use it to even stuff out.
Maybe when I used to have my flat top.
How did I know you had a flat top?
Because I was a squared away son of a gun.
Have you got a photo that you could share quickly?
He's like, quickly.
Yeah, you keep talking. I'll.
Yeah, keep talking. He'll find one quickly. Yeah. So
I thought you had it somewhere on a spreadsheet somewhere.
Episode 3 of Hot Takes, and the topic that we're supposed to have tonight, while Rob looks for a photo of him with hair, is supposed to be whether slab or not slab. That is the question.
Is it
slab
really
or
a question?
Yeah, I'm really, really thrilled to be joined by Rob, of course, behind the greatest wall of comic. I mean, look at all that shit.
Well, it's not the greatest.
This is why I had him on this show, because I was like, slabs, Rob. Like, it was immediately, as soon as the word slab came into my head, I saw Rob's wall. So, like, in my head. What's up, Rude? How goes it? And, of course, I got to get Lee, because you would want to slab your comics around Lee, because they might end up in the hairbrushes. Or
I don't slab my comic books, did you say?
No, I said you might want to slab your comics around you, or they'll end up,
I might, yeah. I usually let it up to the chat, if they think I should slab a book or not. But I have a couple of.
Do you have any slab books?
Sorry?
Do you have any slab books?
Oh, of course. There's one right behind me.
Well, yeah.
This one was actually a gift from Tyler. This is Plutona #1, signed by Jeff Lemire.
I've never heard of that.
Plutona's amazing. I actually, before the show that we did together, I interviewed the artist. That's why this is chilling out there. She was really cool. But yeah.
I have not one. So there's, like, Rob's got a million. You've got a few probably here and there.
Yeah, I've got a couple. I just got this one the other day. I made a video of this one. This is a really cool, like, reprint from 66. I mean, it's got like 3 huge keys on there and a bunch of words. But yeah, I've got a couple. We can turn this into Slab Hub, and I'll show the rest of the slab if you want.
And when it comes down to it, let's be honest here. Unless something's changed recently, I think I'm the only one on Whack Comics who's actually destroyed a slab for Whack Comics.
Live, at least, yeah. Live. Yeah.
You had to go big or go home. You're like, screw it, I'm doing this.
That's right.
But I have a thing. I think, apart from letting the chat vote, of course, if I should slab or whack a book that I own, with slab books that I buy, I like them to be old, like this is another one from 66. This is what is it? Fantastic Four annual #4. This is the first Silver Age appearance of the original Human Torch.
And I do agree that there are books that could be slabbed. None of mine just happened to be, but if I had something that was like, really old and I wanted to preserve it, I probably wouldn't read it that much. I would probably just. Oh God, is this you, Rob? Please tell me this is you.
Yeah, of course it is.
Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, Rob with hair.
Oh wow,
that's right. And aviator glasses, man.
And you haven't got a mustache or anything.
Yeah. No, this was actually in high school. That's my wife, and so it was a few years ago, as you can tell.
Yeah, maybe about 5 years. That's probably about it. Yeah, that was you 5 years ago.
Yeah, I like signed comic books, slabbed. So I've got a few signed ones from Jeff Lemire as well, because he's my favorite. But I also think slabbing original art is worth it too, because that looks fucking super nice. I love that cover.
Yeah, I just
Like,
sent off like 7 sketch covers off to CBCS to get slabbed.
yeah, but I definitely don't. There's only one modern age slab that I own, and that's thanks to DJ Links. Shout out DJ Links. I won this one on Legion of Comics giveaway, one of his giveaways a while back.
Yeah.
And it's a modern one that I'm happy to own because it's a fucking dope cover.
Yeah.
But I have this in my collection, and I wouldn't have slabbed it, But I have it because I want it, and I'll keep it because it was from
And those
DJ
are
Links.
like those had to be hard to get in a 9.8 too, because they're the dark
Yeah.
covers. Dark
Yeah.
covers are always hardest.
Yeah.
See, I mean, yeah, that's a good thing too. I just don't see how, like, I know there are some people out there who probably have like nothing but slab comics in their collection, and maybe if you like got omnibuses or something like that and you read those, and then you just had like key issues slabbed, I could kind of see that.
Well,
But I just don't want people to overboard it. Like, I mean, don't get everything slabbed. Everything is not slab work.
No, it's not. I mean, it's easy to get carried away with it initially. There's a little bit of an adrenaline rush that kind of goes, or almost like it's almost like doing drugs. You get a little bit of like satisfaction, a little kick when you open that up and you get that grade that you wanted, a high grade. You're like, yes,
Yeah.
It'll hit a dopamine.
Yeah.
It makes you all happy, and then get you. Oh, I want to send my next batch in. Oh, but
so you swapped cocaine for CGC?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. A little heroin. Yeah, it's all good. But for me, when I started slabbing books, it was very early. It was a lot. It started off as a lot of moderns.
How long ago? How long have you been slabbing books? Sorry,
2
Tyler,
years.
I'm just going to take over your show.
2 years.
Only 2 years. How many have you got? That's a lot. I thought you
about 700, not counting the 200 or something that are out at CBCS and CGC.
702.
You almost have, like, the amount of books I have, you almost have slabbed.
So, and I've gotten rid of a bunch, but so I mean, when I started off early on, I mean, I would, because I was really early into my YouTube stuff and what I was doing when I was slabbing stuff, I was really into the variant prints, the virgin variants.
Yeah.
And so, and I would feel like, oh, I got to slab all these. Some of them, just because I liked the art for whatever reason. And it wasn't too bad because, I mean, a lot of those, that's what a lot of my PGX books are. They're books that probably shouldn't have ever really been slabbed to begin with, but it was cheap and it was quick and it was easy to get done, and it was all good. Nowadays, probably for the past year or so, I've maybe sent in, I don't know, 40 modern books, and the remaining have been the overwhelming majority, about probably 90% of the books I've sent in have been Silver Age or Golden Age books, a few coppers, but they're older books that are over 40 years old that I'm sending in there. And for the most part, I'm sending them in there because they are keys, or they're books that I just really love the classic art and I want to preserve for as long as possible. Because I'm not going to read, either I can read them online or whatever over and over again if I want, but the book itself, some of these books aren't in condition where you can sit there and handle them over and over and over again. But if you want to preserve it.
Apart from your mystery boxes, do you sell slabs on the side? Like, do you flip them a bit? Or?
Rarely, but I have. So I've recently, like last year, I pulled probably like a dozen or more slabs that maybe about 20 I pulled that I sold either on YouTube or via Instagram, or not YouTube. I'm sorry, eBay. Yeah. So I've sold some, but I don't sell a lot. Usually when I get rid of them, it's in the mystery boxes.
Awesome giveaways. You've given away some crazy ones, even for like other people's channels.
Yeah, that is true. Like, I forget I do slabs. I almost feel obligated now at these points when I'm doing a giveaway to give away a slab. It's like,
I mean, that's kind of like your trademark, right?
Right. It's like, what do you do? Oh, Rob's giving me some Rob books. He gives those away like every week.
Yeah.
It's like, this is a special occasion. I need to get right, because I'm giving away, I give away a dozen plus comics every week on Slab Hub from the pulls. And so when you start talking about, giveaways, like for Mark's giveaway. I was like, oh, okay, I got to do get some slabs, man. Here you go. Let me go find what I got that I can get rid of.
What's up to Warlord as well? Just jumped in.
But there's some. But you can get some. Where's it? Oh. I mean,
like you have all the Spider-Man books I want behind you. You have like all the Batman books I really want.
Yeah. So like this one just recently came back from CGC.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Blue Beetle. This came back 6.5 white pager. But so I mean, this is from what 1946. So I mean, because there's books up here on this wall that go beyond what you can see on camera.
Yeah.
And the whole top row is like all golden age stuff that's up there, spanning from 1941 to 1952.
How far does it stretch down the wall?
It's 10 books wide. So there's 37 books on the wall right now. I'm looking to add another row up above, but there's more Spider-Man books that you would want. You'd want this one that just came back.
Open it up. That's it.
I was about to say the cardboard one. Yeah, crack it open. Do it. Let's see what you got. I've got a project in the works that I need to get done. There's about to be at SC Comic Con this year. There's about to be a bunch of artists writers and artists and editors and stuff. Jim Shooter, I think, is supposed to be there. I'm going to get anybody who worked on Spider-Man to sign my Spider-Man 700, and then I'm going to send it in and get it slabbed. See what it comes back as. But I'm doing that just as a keepsake thing. That's going to be like a thing where I have that book just covered in signatures. Just like, yeah, it would be like a keepsake by that point.
I think.
Wow, they buried this thing in a lot of paper.
I think the only time you really, really should slab something, though, and I'm sure Rob would agree with me here, is if it's a Pokemon card. Yeah. Like if you have any Pokemon
you
cards,
tell me you didn't know this was coming at some point.
If you have any,
you know,
cards,
surprisingly, I don't.
Like anyone watching, just it doesn't matter what they look like, just slap them. That's if you have Pokemon cards, that's what you need to do.
Yeah, all of it. And it's really weird because I've started collecting sports cards. I have no qualms with getting a sports card graded because I mean the information you can see it on the front and the back. Like I mean that's the whole entirety of the information provided on the cards. They're just basically aesthetic anyway.
All right, so
let me
you want to make me big for this.
Yeah,
so this is fresh back from CBCS. Of course, it's this beautiful advertisement here. It's just mind-boggling how great this is. An artist, the art of an artist. It's phenomenal.
That's like Norman Rockwell. So
yeah, I mean, so I think it's a great slab. We'll put it up somewhere over here, maybe. Oh, you want to see the other side?
Oh.
Okay, well,
so we know what the hell it is.
So, well, you know what era it is. So this book, it's got some spine roll, but I knew that going in. So this is a book that I think is one of those books that when you can get it, it's important to go ahead.
Oh yeah,
and preserve it. All right.
Wait, what? Oh, okay. I was like, wait, why does he have no head? Why is there just a circle where his head's supposed to be? And then I was like, oh, wait, that's the top of his head.
Yeah. It's so yeah, Spider-Man 50. This is, the first appearance of Kingpin. The book itself, obviously, this is not the greatest copy in the world. Big, huge sub crease down there. It's got some spine roll, some other stuff like that. But it's still, this is a book that's blown up. It's not. I don't necessarily slab it for the value, but I do take in consideration the value of the book now when I get them slabbed, right? But sometimes you got to do low grades. What you got to do when I've been working on my sub ASM 100 run.
Yeah.
And every single one of those books is getting slabbed. And sometimes you got to stay in your budget.
Yeah. And that's another thing too. So how are you enjoying the new CGC prices? How much is it a book now?
Well, I don't send any books to CGC since their 2021 price hike. Although I still have books in CGC
Yeah.
from before the 2021 price hikes. Um, Matter of fact, that Blue Beetle book that just came back, in the last 7 days. That was at CGC. It was sent in and received by them back in April of last year, and
Whoa.
it was a fast track book.
Yep.
So yeah, 9 months fast track. Thank you,
God
CGC.
damn.
Now, I'm not saying that CBCS is really all that much better, to be honest. I mean, I've used all the grading companies, and there's good things and bad things about all of them. Let me just put that, don't play with that for the sake of the show. CBCS, though, is when I'm doing volume. Right now, I use CGC for a while, but with CGC having done 2 price hikes in less than one calendar year, their price is just kind of prohibitive on the scale that I'm doing when I'm not selling them. Right. So for me, my membership over at CBCS gets me a 6. Modern books are 16.
What's the
Um,
price comparison with them?
For a modern book, it's $16 at CBCS versus 25 at CGC. So it adds up.
Yeah, it definitely
you know,
adds up.
Then there's also, actually right now CBCS is like the second cheapest, because PGX is what, $13 for a modern, so it's not that expensive from that standpoint. They always get you on shipping or other stuff,
Yeah.
but their timelines are bad too. I mean, they're talking 25 plus weeks for the bait, unless you're paying for expedited services. And if you're paying for expedited services, they're charging extra. So whatever it is you do, if you're choosing at this point to send books in for grading, to have them slabbed, they're books that you're probably not looking to turn around and flip them anytime soon. They're books that are for your PC, and you're sending them in there, and they're going to be there for an extended period of time, unless you're willing to spend additional money to have it expedited. And even still,
It's
that
still
didn't.
gonna take forever.
Well, I mean, that's not. So I had that. So that ASM 50 that was sent in on the rapid. So once it left my presser and got to CBCS, it was only at CBCS for 3 weeks.
The rest of the time, it was just in the air.
Well, they received it, and then 3 weeks later, it was on its way back to me.
Okay.
So it went through their process of receiving it, grading, encapsulation, all that stuff in 3 weeks.
I was about to say, because I started looking into like getting some like baseball cards graded, and I looked up PSA, and it's $100 a card, and I was like, "What?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way. There's no way. I mean, like, I don't think I've ever had a card that's worth $100. Even though I've had some nice. I mean, well, maybe if I had some of my older cards, but like, no. I was like, dude, there's not a lot of cards you even need.
I don't understand how that could be that expensive, because obviously their materials to encapsulate it aren't that expensive.
It's like there's a grading company in Australia that grades comic books called Halo, and I looked into them. I was thinking about sending in some books. Mainly, it was like some whacked books I wanted to do just for the fun of it, And they're $140 a book, like for one book, and then if you get like I think 5 or something like that, it comes down to $90 a book. It's just fucking expensive. It's great as hell.
No, I mean, obviously some of that is them, probably having to import some of the materials, but they look
do
at the
like
fact
that
that they
also
have no
because
competition.
Exactly, and like if you send it to America, it's going to cost you around that much anyway,
right? With the shipping there and back,
and they can take you forever. So
they can do that to you. I mean, there's a lot of these guys talking about, you can drop off books. I know, people get turned around pretty fast, and CBCS can turn around fast, but if you're not going to pay for the expedited service, it will take, like I said, right now they're quoting like 25 weeks or something. And that seems to be pretty much correct. The biggest problem is that, so with the different grading companies, like I said, they each have different things that are going for them or not. CBCS is a little bit faster. Their cases are more solid. There are people who don't care for their labels. I recognize that. There's a lot of people who like that little white square, and there's some people who could care less about the white square where the number is. But CGC, I will admit, has a better tracking system for the books that are in their facility. The CBCS is always behind. Sometimes you have to download the invoice to see where it is because it differs from what the your dashboard says. Although, so CGC is a little bit easier to understand and tends to be more responsive to emails, which is good because CGC also, their dashboard of your books starts dropping books off when it's more than 8 months old. And when their lead times
Or like a year.
he's right. So right now, like my last submission that I sent in, other than signature signing events, my last submission from April last year no longer shows up in my dashboard because it's been there too long. So if I want to check the status, I have to email them or call them. So it's a good thing that they're a little bit more responsive than CBCS.
So I'm assuming you like took a screenshot of your dashboard just to be able to keep up with all the stuff you still have there because you have like 200 something books there.
Well, I also keep track of everything in my I don't rely on their dashboards, right? I track everything in my inventory system. It's kind of triple tracked. So I use the CLZ app, and when I send a book out of my house to inventory, there's a bucket it goes into for where is it located. I have their dashboard that I can look at it, and then I also use a Google sheet to track that has various tabs for CGC, CBCS, for facilitators that I send books to for signing events and stuff. And I track each stage because I've been wanting to track this stuff too. I can report back on it as part of my content. When did the book? How long did it take for them to receive the book from when it was delivered to them? How long did it take to go from this stage to this? What's the total time? That's the kind of information I would start to gather on these things. I'm using the spreadsheets also because I think it's interesting. The metrics become interesting to me, not only to watch and see what's really going on with my books there, but sometimes as anecdotal commentary on contents when we're talking about slabs or undoing an unboxing.
And I think the only thing that I've heard people say is like, I don't know, I do like CBCS. The only downfall I think they've had is, sometimes their lead times are a little out there, but they're not still near as bad as CGC was getting. But their cases, everybody was like, the thing on top. I wish they'd make
the label. It's the label.
Make the label look nicer.
There's a lot of people who love the white sticker.
Everything looks great.
I mean, like it's to me, it's still like protect. Oh, that's a good issue. This is dot cover.
I mean, go ahead.
Comparison. There we go.
I mean, it's personal preference. I mean, look, there's some people, you got the CBCS and the CGC. Right? So, I mean, there's some people that just love that white sticker because that grade pops out more to them.
I guess.
CBCS's argument is that it's about the comic book and not about the grade. And so, there's arguments.
To be honest, I like CBCS is better. I think it looks more streamlined.
It's a matter of personal preference. And if that's the reason why if that's worth $9 more to you to have that little white sticker, because that's all it is. It's actually a sticker that they print on and then stick it to the label. Then
Rob, I need your opinion on something real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think of that? Oh my God.
It's the gift that just keeps on giving.
Oh my God.
That was from me in the moment today on White Comics.
Yeah.
Great. That was live on Whack. That was great. I figured we had to show you.
So I mean, from a standpoint of the appearance you're talking about, really at a distance, it's a label, white sticker or not. When it comes to actually handling the slabs, the new CBCS slabs, I've cracked all the slabs that the 4 grading companies slabs, And the CBCS ones were the only ones that are in there so damn well that I fucked up the book trying to get a slab
Oh
book
wow,
out of it.
okay. So once it's
Um,
in there, it's in there.
it's pretty good. I mean, you now knowing what I know now, I could probably extricate the book, no
Let's have a
problem.
go.
But let's have a
Let's
go.
have a go.
Yeah, I don't have one that I'm willing to crack out right now.
Out of the 700 that you have?
Yeah, nothing that's within my arm's reach.
We have time.
I was about to
But
say that Wolverine #1. You can crack that one.
Yeah.
that's a CGC. That's easy. Those things just the CGCs. All you got to do is give them a little bit of a twist. It
Yeah,
cracks the
they just
glue, and
pop
then
loose.
they pop right open. They're only slightly harder to crack open than a PGX slab.
And then at the same time too, it kind of makes it kind of makes a difference to like if you have a book that's signed, but it's already signed, like you already got the person to sign it. Don't unless you want a green label, don't send it to CGC.
Well, if it was signed ahead of time, right? Yeah, you can. About the only way where it's almost palatable is if it's signed ahead of time and you have another signature put on it. Then you get the yellow green label, which is predominantly yellow with a little green stripe on top of it. It doesn't look as bad, in my opinion, but it's still got that green aspect to it, which is just the kiss of death. It shouldn't be, but it kind of is. Um, CBCS, yeah, since now that they got away from using the pink/red label
Yeah,
for their verified, and then you just get the yellow verified. It's definitely a much nicer looking thing. Of course, the other problem you have is like once you get a book signed, witnessed, even if it's a CGC one, because they don't recognize each other's witnessing. It's like, okay, if I want to get this book signed by another artist, if that artist isn't doing their signature with a CGC, there's not a way to get it signed by CGC, whether if I'm in person or whether it's through a private signing event. Well, then I can't send that book in because
yeah.
the CBCS won't recognize it, so they'll have to do the verification, and so now it'll lose its witnessed signature status, and vice versa. I mean, CBCS used to recognize CGC's witnessing, but they stopped doing it for books. I forget which year. It's after a certain year because CGC changed their rules where a book doesn't actually have to be witnessed in order to be witnessed.
Interesting.
Having said that, let me clarify. So an artist who's registered with them, right?
Yeah.
So they can do something and then send it in themselves saying that I did it,
Oh
and then
yeah.
they'll
Yeah.
count
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
They'll
Yeah.
count
Yeah.
that as witnessed, but it's it's not really witnessed.
Yeah. It's not by unless they're like because I know some artists who are CGC verified witnesses, whatever, because like they get requests to do so many books to have them sent in
Yeah,
like
they have to
somebody.
send it in themselves and
Yeah.
stuff. I mean,
What's the deal with sketch covers? Is something about like I
the
know
whole
that they
sketch has
used
to be witnessed from
the
start to
whole sketch
finish.
has to be witnessed. Okay,
Yeah.
because I know that
So
like back in I heard somewhere. Where did I hear it? Heard somewhere that CGC is going to stop doing. Uh, they're going to start putting a different label or a different thing on sketch covers because, the way they're looking at it is you can't grade it if it's a white cover with somebody's marker all over it. Like you can't technically grade it and see. I don't know. For some reason they have a problem grading it and seeing what it is. So they're wanting to start putting like something else on it. It's not even a
well,
grade. It's like an NG or something. Or
yeah, well, so no grade or something. That
that's it.
CBCS gives you the option, right? So I just sent the 7 books I just sent into CGC that were all sketch covers. I sent them in and I requested what they call an art label instead of having it grade. So they're not even going to grade the book because they're one of a kinds, right? And so they're just going to take the book. They're gonna go ahead and encapsulate it, and they'll put the art label on it, and then they'll verify the signature on the book for me, and then they'll send it back, and then it'll have the yellow label, be verified signature, and it's just going to have an art label because if you get it graded, right? So what happens is you get a sketch cover, it's a custom one-piece artwork, and then it comes back a 9.4.
Yeah.
People all of a sudden think of it less of it, right? Because now it's only a 9.4, even though 9.4 is a near mint book.
Yeah.
But they just go, oh, well, it's only 9.4, so blah, blah, blah. That's not the point. The point is the art on that book. It's original art. So it should be done that way, and I think that's what CGC is getting to do, right? Is they're going to start to do original art labels. Because right now you can get that with CBCS. PGX does it, although PGX also will do a full piece of art like this, where you have a whole page. It doesn't go in the full slab. They just take the inner well material and will seal the book. They'll authenticate it, and then they give it that OA, original art label.
See, I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, this is actually something you can only get done at PGX East. Their the original office, the PGX West, won't do this right now. This is only PGX East. It's like a franchise. It's kind of weird.
So how would that work? Would you just send it into the address?
Yeah, you send it to the East, because even though PGX East and PGX West, even though they both carry the PGX name, they have separate websites. They have different services. So like PGX East won't do Silver Age and Golden Age grading. They only do Modern Age grading, pretty much. But they do these larger pieces of art. They also do, I think they do some posters, or they do money or something. I don't know. They have whatever it is they do. That's different.
I want to say there's one that does coins as well.
CGC does money, stamps, cards, video games, comic books, concert posters.
I've heard they started to slab
concert tickets.
Them, but somebody started to slab VHS tapes.
Probably. I mean, there's
a couple. Why are we doing that?
Because some people have decided they're collectibles.
I mean, they are. I would love a minty, still poly wrapped Jurassic Park on VHS, but
well, more about the ones that are the money are the DC. Sorry, not DC, the Disney.
Yeah. Oh my God, the clamshell cases or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had all those. I think I had all of those.
No, not my thing, but.
What's this? My following question is on preservation. Oh. What'd you ask, Bruce?
Let's forget about the money. My following question is on preservation. Between a slab and a mylar and a top loader. Very good. So obviously, if you put a book in a mylar and a top loader, it's a great way to, at home, that's going to give you the maximum protection, putting stuff in your short box, right? Mylar the mylar books or bags are going to be inert. They're going to not react with everything, and they're going to be usually is a thicker material, going to be pretty good at protecting the book. And then dropping that inside of a top loader, the top loader is obviously going to give it some extra rigidity and stuff. I do like to send expensive books when I send them into CGC or CBCS. Sometimes I put them in top loaders before I box them, so that way they have some extra protection for them. I mean, it's a little bit more expensive, but it's great. But the difference when you go throw it into a slab, obviously the difference when you have it slab is that is going to be, it's sealed inside of an inner well, and then on top of that, then it's got a hard case around it versus it's going to be better protected. The drawback is you can't read a slab unless you crack it out. And then there's the question of grading. If you're trying to put in a value to a book, either because you're going to sell it or you want to just know what the value of your books are, you can grade. Obviously, you can grade yourself, but depending on your skill level, as how accurate you are when you're trying to determine price versus the quote unquote independent third party. And then there is the interim in between piece that you can do. And that's CBCS and EGS both offer slab-free grading. Essentially, they do what's called raw grading. And when you send a book to CBCS, they're going to take that book and they'll run it through the full grading process, just as they would as if they were going to encapsulate it in a slab. But instead, Yeah, but instead they're going to put it in a Mylar. They'll put a tamper evidence sticker on the back and put a little grade sticker on the front and
How
bottom.
much does that cost? That sounds ridiculous.
I think it's $16 for a Silver Age, something, and $10 for modern.
Who would do that?
Actually, I'm thinking of doing it for some, like, so there's two different ways.
Sorry, I didn't mean.
Um,
Just like say like who would do that? It's like really, but then you're like, oh,
Well,
I'm
there's
sorry.
there's a couple of reasons I can think of. First of all, if I had a book that I'm going to turn around and sell, not first of all, not everybody likes slabs, right?
Yeah.
But if I have an expensive book that I want to sell, um, and instead of having to take my word for what the quality of that book is, having it assessed by a third party and be able to say, right now, this moment in time, this book is this value, it may help you to be able to get more for that book, and it may be worth that.
Yeah.
Also, I'm looking at right now my mystery and space run that I'm working on. There are some of them that I'm getting slabbed, but I don't want to slab the entire run. But I'd like to be able to know what the value on them. They're 50, 60, 70-year-old books. I'd
Yeah,
like
I was about to say I wouldn't feel bad about slapping those.
so I'm thinking about, because of the volume of them that I have, I'm thinking about taking a bunch of them.
Could
And
you say, for example, if there was a, let's use your Blue Beetle that you just got as an
yeah,
example. It's at 8.5, is it?
6.5.
6.5. Let's say you got that back as a slab, 6.5. You got one back as just being graded. You can't sell them for the same price, though, could you?
I think I don't I don't know. It depends on the buyer, but I would imagine that, look, if a 6.5 graded book from the same party, whether one's fully encapsulated or one's a raw grade, is going to be, you're going to be able to get as close to the fully encapsulated grade as possible, because obviously if somebody wants it encapsulated, at least they're going to have to pay for that.
Yeah.
But buying it from that buying it aspect, they have a pretty good idea of what that's going to be, versus me putting up just a raw book on eBay saying it's in mid-grade condition and
And
not.
there's always the thing of like, I mean, I've done it with books that I've had before where like I've gotten new books and I'll be reading them like, the third time I read them or something like that. And I like find out there's like a little tear or something on like the back cover that I never noticed, or, there's something wrong with it that I just never noticed before. And I was like, man, I would have thought this was, a near mint copy or something like that. And then the next thing I know, there's like, something wrong with it that I didn't see. So
Yeah, I mean, raw grading isn't. There's a reason why it's not prevalent out there, right? It's not for everyone, and it's probably something that is done occasionally or something. And a lot of times, the way it's been used by some sellers or some people who collect books, they'll send books into, say, CBCS, and send it, and you do a pre-screen. So you're saying, hey, these books, we're pre-screening them to whatever grade you set your grade to for pre-screening. But if a book gets rejected, since they're going to charge me something anyways for having it pre-screened, well, raw grade it then, because then it's only $5 more to get it raw graded, and you can get it back. Now you know what it is and can determine what you want to do with it or how you want to sell it. That's probably the way that most of the raw grades happen. I know that there's a company right now that Mark from Legion of Comics did a feature on recently, where that's how they sell their raw grade books, is they only send stuff as a third party. They help to make sure you get a guaranteed grade on a book that way. But I'm thinking about doing it for some of my mystery in space, because I am always grade interested in knowing what is somebody. I love having a grade assigned to my books for some dumb reason, and if I send them in raw grade, that helps to satisfy that urge to know, at the same time as it satisfies my urge not to spend
yeah, because I mean, if I start raw
$27 a
grading,
piece for a
if I
Silver
start
Age
raw
book.
grading something anywhere between like a 2 and a 5 or something like that, it just kind of starts getting gray for me. Where it's just like, well, what is this?
Yeah,
Like, I mean,
it can be difficult. But when it comes back, raw graded, which are it's going into the Mylar. It's had the tamper evidence seal, and it's got a grade assigned to it. Whether you feel that's value to you, then don't do it.
Yeah.
If you do, then great. I mean, that's always been my thing with slabbing. Is I don't care. I'm not a slab snob, and I don't look at somebody who doesn't have slabs and go, "Why don't you have slabs?" Just as people shouldn't look at me and go, "Why do you encapsulate so many books?"
Yeah.
It's how I choose to collect, right? And ultimately, it's your money.
Collect your way to Brothers
Yeah,
Comics.
without a
Mhm.
doubt. All that matters is that we're kind of in this together, right? We all love our books, and how I choose to love mine and show its affection is a little bit different. That's all.
Yep.
Yeah, some
Sometimes
people like to make
sometimes
brushes out of their comic books.
yeah,
Some
and
people like to slab them.
some
Mhm.
people smash them out of that case and wrap their meat in when they're doing barbecue in the
That was
comics.
a good time.
That was really good. That was like, I was like, man, he's all official. He's got the gloves on, and he's
Yeah,
like got
those
the whole
black
setup
gloves.
going and everything. Like he put work into this.
Well, 99% of that is my normal stuff because I do competition barbecue on the side.
You
One of
do
my,
do?
it's one of my hobbies.
But you said do.
Well, after
I
eating
know,
that
you
much
need to,
barbecue, you
like,
do.
you totally need to send me some barbecue because I mean you're right there in California. That wouldn't be an issue. I don't know how you would ship barbecue, but totally can do that. All right, well, I think that's about it. Let's see how far. Oh yeah, 45 minutes. So there you go. Yeah, close enough. So yeah, I think we pretty much covered everything that we can. I mean, it's all up to you. If you want to slab something, get it slabbed. If you want to slab everything you own,
Slab Pokemon cards.
Oh my god, slab all the Pokemon cards. I had that card too when I was a kid.
Yeah,
Oh,
Fat
man, I totally
Pikachu.
had
That's
card.
why I bought it because
That's the one everybody wanted. Like, yeah, that was like the regular Pikachu. Nobody wanted. Everybody wanted the special one. That's like,
old fatty.
Like was it even like? I can't remember why it was special. It was just a different printing.
No, it's an original one. This is what he looked like before they
Oh yeah,
changed the
originally.
design.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then the other one's a second printing. That's right.
Like he's all skinnier and shit. This is
What's up, Lee? I mean, not Lee. Tyler.
the other one.
The other one. The other whack.
Slab it or whack it.
The other whacker. Oh my god.
Pokey Rob.
Yeah. But hope
I've got
everybody
both
had a
my
good time.
co-hosts in the show.
Rob, I'm gonna cycle through between the two of you. Y'all go ahead and pimp yourselves.
Well, gee, thank you very much. This Thursday, I do have on my channel a CGC unboxing, and then Saturday, of course, is my main show for my channel. It is called Slab Hub, and we're going to be having Remy Q Studios will be on this week, and each week we have a different guest come on and show off some of their slabbed collection. Now we have to be very specific that it's slabbed comics. Thank you, Tyler. And they come on and tell us a story about a little bit of story about all their books as they show them off and get to play show and tell just like in kindergarten.
Nice. And the whack god himself.
No, that's Scott.
Okay.
Scott. That's Scott from Hoarder's Hides, the whacking god. Yeah. I just did an interview with Emmy Lennox. That'll come out in the next couple of days or so. And apart from that, Ignacio just launched a Kickstarter today called Breakneck Fantasy. And I was going to drop the link in the chat, but I realized I can't do that here because this isn't my chat. This is
yeah, I'm trying to drop links on my phone and this is not working.
I'm going to send the link.
I'm going to drop both of y'all's links in the description of the video.
Here's a hint, although also if you don't have the link directly, if you search Whack Comics in YouTube search bar, they'll come up. And if you search Rob Fat Stax, I come up.
No, okay.
There you go.
And search Breakneck Fantasy is the anthology series on Kickstarter.
Nice.
Ignacio. It looks amazing. Everyone needs to get it. Breakneck Fantasy Anthology. That's what it's called. There you go.
Yes, Justin. It is it says let's settle this. It's a Settlers of Catan based gaming shirt.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's it. We'll see everybody later. Y'all have a good one. Go check these two gentlemen's channels out. Have a good one.
That's all, folks.